All right. I'm super excited and honored to have Jeff McDonald here on the Move Happy Movement podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
No, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. And I always love to, tell our audience, how I'm connecting with people like yourself. I believe it was through a post on LinkedIn. We interacted with each other, whatnot. And I saw that you're retired veteran as well as from the first responder space, and now you're working at a university. So I was like, man, I gotta have him on the show. This is awesome. So yeah, I love it. For those that don't know your story, don't know your background, why don't you walk us through a little bit of your origin story, if you will?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, born and raised in Southern California. Played sports all through my youth, all the way through high school. I had a couple opportunities to play college football. Decided not to.
Mm-hmm.
I was in love. Didn't want
Aw.
to leave, and did a year of JUCO, and found out college was not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to join the Marine Corps after my neighbor across the street had come back. He was in the invasion of Iraq and talked
Mm.
up the Marine Corps like some kick-ass gun club, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And went down, joined the Marine Corps,
Mm-hmm.
joined the Marine Corps Infantry, and then went through boot camp in San Diego, School of Infantry down in San Diego, and then was my my unit was 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines out of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So got down to Hawaii on the Marine Corps birthday of 2004, and deployed to Afghanistan in June of 05, and then fought during like Operation Red Wings and Operation Whalers, which Red Wings was like the movie Lone Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
So I fought during those missions, and then came back from Afghanistan in early 06, deployed again in late 06 to Iraq. Was in Haklania, which is just south of Haditha, north of Fallujah and Ramadi, and we fought there in 06 to 07, and then honorably discharged as a sergeant in 08. So I was a company point man in Afghanistan, then a squad leader in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
So then got out and then got into law enforcement, where I spent 12 years of my life. Several of those years were on a fugitive task force team and a SWAT team.
Wow.
And then, then I decided enough's enough. My wife and I decided to move up to Montana.
Nice.
And here we are. I was a Missoula cop for a little over a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I just really lost the love of the job, started dealing with some depression and some anxiety issues and some
Mm-hmm.
PTSD issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked away from law enforcement after 12 years and found a job at the University of Montana.
So let's talk a little bit, and thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
I think there's a lot of listeners that can relate to that, especially being veterans or being first responders, dealing with that high level of stress on a daily basis, low level of pay, not a whole lot of gratitude from the community. Let's talk about what is your current role now at the university?
So right now I work at the Safe School Center, which is in the College of Education.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what I do, I'm a school safety specialist. So what I do is I work with schools K through 12 and helping them develop emergency operation plans.
Mm-hmm.
I teach them active shooter response.
Wow.
Basically what we're doing is run, hide, fight, but
Mm-hmm.
I go into more detail, of course.
Yeah.
I do some medical training, some basic first aid and life-saving measures,
Mm-hmm.
tourniquets, chest seals, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I also teach threat assessment. So threat assessment in the, for lack of a better term, is just working with school counselors and principals and SROs
Mm-hmm.
as a group, like more of a holistic approach versus that's your problem. No, that's your problem. So
Yeah.
they all work together in developing a plan to prevent catastrophe from happening. So, it's keeping that molehill a molehill before it turns into a mountain.
Yeah.
So, and it's working with kids and, the community resources
Mm-hmm.
to get them the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what a threat assessment team is.
Yeah.
And then I also provide site analysis. So I can go onto an actual school campus. A little difficult right now because of the COVID stuff that we're dealing with, but I can actually go onto a school campus and work with them on, finding choke points, finding vulnerabilities, and helping them mitigate those problems to make the school safer.
Wow, that's
So,
powerful. Powerful stuff.
oh,
Coming from a
thanks.
background and prior K-12 education, and also grew up, I would consider, in the hood. We had
Uh-huh.
a lot of those, trainings where you're doing the lockdown and you're being quiet and you're shutting the windows and you're staying away from the glass and the
Yeah.
doors, and somebody's got the exit prepared and locked and all of
Yep.
that. What you're doing is really important.
Thank you.
I would say in any area, no matter hood, state, or or a safe community too, because you never know, especially with the high level of stress with COVID now. I'd imagine there's a lot of erratic behavior going on.
Yeah, there's a lot more mental health in Montana specifically. We're again number one again for years and years in a row for suicide per capita,
Really?
which is terrible, right?
That
We have a
is.
lot of mental health
Wow.
issues in the state.
Wow, I didn't know that.
There's a lot of drinking in the state,
Mm.
and there's a lot of guns in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So those by themselves are not big issues, but
Mm-hmm.
when you start combining and bringing multiple issues into one, it's where I think that's why I have a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and with alcohol, it exacerbates your mood. So if you're in a
Oh,
depressed state, probably shouldn't be drinking and holding that
right,
gun.
right.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that stat about Montana. Thank you for sharing that. So, with that high level of stress responsibility, of preparing schools and whatnot, being that, threat detection, that resource, what are some what are some strategies you've learned in keeping your own mind space in a positive manner so you can still function and get the job done and also enjoy life outside of work? What are some tips you could share with our listeners?
Well, for a long time, you could have asked me what's wrong, and I would have told you. I'd have lied right to your face and say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was starting to notice certain things about myself that just weren't jiving with who I was and who I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was becoming really negative, argumentative, snappy,
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. I would notice my anxiety level would shoot through the roof over stupid little things. Like my
Mm-hmm.
kids, I have three small kids, and my kids were just being kids, and I would lose my mind on them over them being kids, not even
Mm-hmm.
doing anything bad.
Yeah.
So I started looking at what's going on with my life, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I left law enforcement. I felt law enforcement was kind of, I'm an introvert, so I
Mm-hmm.
give out all my quote unquote coins during
Yep.
work, and then when I come home, I have no more coins left to give. So I was becoming really nasty as a father and a husband. So I
Mm-hmm.
started realizing these things, and then seeing how my wife was reacting, and the conversations my wife and I were having weren't good. They were very
Yeah.
unpleasant.
Yeah.
So I finally broke down and said, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
Something's not right with me. I can't fake it anymore.
Yeah.
And I started receiving counseling,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm now seeing a psychotherapist, and I'm on medication. I'm
Mm-hmm.
on a mood suppressant to kind of, make me more even keel.
Yeah.
I do take medication to combat my depression.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been a struggle, and
Mm-hmm.
however, there's professionals out there for a reason, right? If
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
psychologists and psychiatrists and psychotherapists and whatever, even just counseling,
Mm-hmm.
they go to school for a reason.
Yep.
And my analogy is, if you have a Ferrari and the check engine light's on, you're going to probably take that Ferrari to the mechanic to get it fixed, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, your brain is like an engine.
Mm-hmm.
My check engine light came on, and I was running it into the red all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've gone to the head doctors to fix my brain and to fix
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with me, or to help me understand what's going on and help
Yeah.
me fix my problems.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the steps that I've taken. And I had to walk away from a job that was, like you said, very negative and not highly respected.
Yeah.
So I had to take some negativity out of my life. I love being a cop, but I was becoming a nasty human.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not why I became a cop, and that's not why I'm a father or a
Yeah.
husband.
That's a
So,
powerful analogy. And thank you for, being so transparent about that. I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that story as well. And many, don't listen and don't have that introspection time and haven't made those changes. And it ends in loss of marriage or high stress situation at home, or just, unfortunately end of life for the
yep.
individual.
Yep.
Uh,
I was contemplating suicide myself.
yeah.
I still battle with it,
Hmm.
but I'm getting better. And I'm, doing things like this and
Yeah.
being a voice to guys like me, or even girls like me, um, that have done some, seen some horrific things and done some horrific things and been a part of some nasty situations. I just like to say that it's okay to get help. And that's
Yeah.
why those doctors are there. They're
100%.
not there to judge you. They're there to help you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you for being so transparent with that.
for sure.
And great tips on keeping a positive mindset. You might have to shift careers, and that's
Hmm.
okay. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, as long as you're able to pay your bills and it's
Yep.
something that you enjoy doing, you can still add value in many ways. So, the second pillar of Move Happy is about building strong community. In the literature, we know that having a social support, whether that's family, friends, good coworkers, etc., is a real strong predictor of our happiness level. Or on the other end, if we're hanging around with a bunch of poisonous people, it could, go on the other end and not be contributing to our happiness. What are some strategies you've learned either in working at the university level or through your experience, in as a Marine or as a first responder, connecting with colleagues, or just a way that you've learned to connect with others to help you through on those tough days?
Um, Things that I've learned would be, you got to be able to, quote unquote, trim the fat,
Hmm.
take those negative people out of your life.
I like that.
Like, I changed my phone number recently. I had my phone number for my California phone number for almost 20 years.
Hmm.
And I just recently, my wife and I just recently changed it to a Montana area code.
Uh-huh.
And I went through my phone and I was like, don't talk to him. He sucks. He sucks. Don't talk
Yeah.
to him. Don't talk to her. Da, da, da. I went through my phone. I deleted over 200 contacts because those are the negative people in my life. Those are the
Good for
people that
you.
will, they'll be sweet or awesome to your face, but then as soon as you leave,
Yep.
they're going to run their mouth about you or backstab you. Or
Hmm.
so I did trim the fat on a lot of that, and then I really started to pay attention to who I'm bringing into my life,
Yeah.
and making sure that it has to go both ways. You have to learn something from them, but they should also be able to learn something from you. And
Absolutely.
you guys have to have the same values, and in yeah, you can have art, differences of opinions on certain
Hmm.
things, but they should be good family Christian men, or you know what I mean, something like,
Yeah.
not a negative person, or who's going to tell you to leave your wife, who's going to tell you to cheat on your wife, who's, you got
Yeah.
to have those positive influences in your life. And
Absolutely.
I used to not be that way. I used to want to hang out with the in crowd or the right crowd, and
Hmm.
I had to, you know those are the negative people a lot of times.
Hmm.
So I've had to separate myself from them, and to, again, try and stay on the right track.
What was that moment, if you recall, when you made that decision to trim the fat?
It was like a weight lifted off of me. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need that person in my life. They've done nothing for me positively.
Hmm.
So it was actually a blessing. My wife and I both laughed at, like, how little our phone book got,
Hmm.
because we're both trying to make sure that we just keep the positive people in our life, people that will do something for us spiritually, and, metaphorically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I can
Yeah.
relate to that recently, having some poison infiltrate my team, and I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
learning
the devil.
to be a lot more particular with who I associate with, and
Right.
learning to not share as much with everyone. They have to kind of earn the right to learn a little bit more about me and whatnot. So I can definitely
Right.
relate to that for sure. Great
Right.
tips. So third pillar of Move Happy is movement related. So with that in mind, what are some of your favorite ways to move your body, whether it's sports or activities?
Uh, I wanted to go skiing this season. It was just, with COVID restrictions, we couldn't get up to the mountains too
Hmm.
much. I wanted to teach my kids how to ski and snowboard.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. But we've been fishing a bunch,
Hmm.
doing little hikes. My
Hmm.
kids are still pretty little, so they get fatigued a little faster than most.
Yeah.
Um, I go hunting
Hmm.
during the season in late fall.
Hmm.
I'm gonna try and do some spring bear hunting this year, and then I work out a ton. I'm in the gym 5 to 7 days a week. I have my own gym in my garage,
Nice.
so I work out a ton, even in the winter when it's really cold here in Montana.
That's
um,
good.
yeah, so I work out a ton. We're gonna get more into hiking and mountain biking, and
Cool.
we just got some paddle boards, so we're gonna do some paddle boarding this summer. So
Nice.
I try and stay as active as possible. My kids are all playing sports. They play soccer and baseball and softball. And
Hmm.
so I'm going to coach my son this year in t-ball. He's only 4. So
Aw,
yeah,
that's awesome. That'll be really powerful.
yeah.
So what are you really passionate about, excited about right now that we can support you with here at Move Happy?
Honestly, I'm just excited to be a part of this. This is cool. I love the ability to talk and hopefully reach some veterans that are
Yeah.
struggling and be that voice of reason for them, or just even be a friend when they may need one, or somebody that they can vent to, or that
Yeah.
can listen to them. And mostly because I've been there.
Hmm.
I've been there as a cop,
Yeah.
and I've been there as a Marine,
Hmm.
and I've unfortunately seen my friends die, and
Yeah.
carry them off a rooftop.
Yeah.
And I've been in gunfights as a Marine and as a cop,
Hmm.
so I understand the struggles that go on with that job and that lifestyle. So just be more of a I appreciate the opportunity to be a voice and or somebody that can prevent somebody from doing something permanent.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if they're struggling, are you open to connections on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn or via email. I'm a
Or
little cautious about giving out my phone number,
yeah.
um, just because I don't. And if we develop a relationship, me and the said person, after some time via communicating via email or LinkedIn or
Hmm.
whatever,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Okay. And if they
So
want to email you, do you want to share what
yeah,
your email is?
yeah, my email is jmcdonald, JMCDONALD 4114 at yahoo.com.
Okay.
That's my
Awesome.
personal email, and I don't know my LinkedIn account, but you have it, so
Yeah, no, that's
you could
good.
you
That's
could
good.
you
They
could share
can,
it.
yeah,
By
they
all means,
can
please share it.
they can connect with you either on LinkedIn. We'll make sure to put the link in the comments after
Perfect.
we post this. And then
Perfect.
I always love to close out the show with, some random question to help
I
people
love it.
connect to you on a personal level. So what what is your absolute favorite thing to do where you lose track of time when you're doing it?
Hunting,
Hunting?
hunting. I can start at I can have zero sleep and still wake up at 03
Mm-hmm.
and start hiking, and then before I know it, it's dark again. So I started hiking before the sun came up, and
Mm-hmm.
I've hiked all the way through the sun coming up and the sun going down. I've completely lost track of time. My phone doesn't work where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
so there's no distraction.
Yeah.
So the only distraction I have is looking for animals and paying attention to my GPS. That is it. So I can totally just lose track, be stuck in that moment, and being in nature where there's no one else. It's awesome.
That's cool. Fun fact, my father hunted for like 40 plus years.
Nice.
I got to go when I was 10. It was all his guy friends, of course. So I got to go and do some shooting during the day. They wouldn't let me stay overnight, but they did mostly deer and then they had
Hmm.
elk season. What's your preferred I guess
I
hunting
love deer.
season?
I
What's your
love deer and elk.
there? Deer and
Deer and
elk.
elk. Yeah. Bear's gonna be fun. I've never hunted bear before, so it'll be a new
Okay.
experience for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you have
I'm
to
I'm
keep me
I'm very much
posted.
a novice when it comes to hunting. I'm still learning a ton.
Yeah,
But I enjoy it.
that's how my dad was too. I think it was just mostly time with the guys. Like he needed
Hmm.
that time away. So
Oh,
that's
for
very
sure.
cool.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for your time today.
absolutely.
This has been really a positive experience. You've gone through a lot of stuff, and I think more people need to start talking like you are.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much for the opportunity.
You bet.